She was just the sweetest.
Her name was Heaven.
She was a joy. She was a joy.
But records show she lived through hell.
I cannot imagine what she had to go through.
A little girl Child Protection failed to protect.
And she didn't have to go through it.
In this Virginia courtroom, her mother, Latoya Smith, was charged with child abuse and second-degree murder after 11-year-old Heaven was found beaten to death. But Heaven's history of hell actually began years ago here in Minnesota. In 2015, when Heaven was just 7, a Ramsey County judge ordered her mother to give up custody of the little girl. According to these court records, there were concerns back then about physical abuse and neglect. Her mother apparently unable to protect Heaven from sexual abuse and unable to meet her special needs. Born premature and diagnosed with cerebral palsy, Heaven was developmentally delayed and had behavioral issues.
She had a whole bunch of outbursts, hitting, biting, scratching.
Child Protection placed her with her Aunt Sharonda for more than a year, and she says there was remarkable improvement.
If you pay attention to Heaven and you talk to Heaven, Heaven was very teachable. All it took was patience.
Still, there were troubling echoes of past abuse and fear.
She used to ask me all the time that I won't let no one kill her.
Heaven's grandmother remembers a question that still haunts her.
You gonna let somebody kill me? No, I'm not. I'm not gonna let no one kill you.
By all accounts, Heaven was doing well with her aunt, but under Minnesota law, one of the goals is to try to reunite kids with their parents. So Heaven was returned to her mother for several months on a trial basis, and after a report saying Latoya Smith had made significant improvements, a judge approved returning Heaven full-time. Child Protection recommended dismissing the case, even though KARE 11 discovered that teachers at Heaven's school were still raising concerns about Heaven's continued care and condition. Heaven's aunt warned of even worse.
And I told her, I said, Heaven's not going to live long if you send her back there, and the blood going to be on your hands.
After the Child Protection case against Latoya Smith was dismissed, she moved to Virginia. That's where, early this year, Heaven's hand was burned so badly she was hospitalized and had this skin graft. Latoya claimed it was an accident. Virginia authorities, apparently unaware of the history of abuse in Minnesota, failed to intervene. 4 months later, Heaven was dead.
I knew it was going to happen. And I knew Heaven was going to be the one.
These medical reports document the torture, lethal blunt force injuries to the head and torso that killed her. Before that, 23 broken bones in various stages of healing from at least 4 previous traumatic events. A classic hallmark, an expert wrote, of child abuse that may have dated back years. In court, Latoya Smith has pleaded guilty to felony homicide and is awaiting sentencing. Her boyfriend, DeMont Harris, has also been charged, but prosecutors have not detailed who they think delivered the fatal blows.
What we worry about is a lack of consistency in practices across the state.
Rich Gurman is executive director of Safe Passage for Children, a group that advocates for kids. He says Minnesota ranks next to last in state funding for child protection and foster care, and children are in even greater danger when they move from state to state because records of abuse don't automatically follow them.
But there's no requirement, there's no clearinghouse. There's a lot of concerns about confidentiality and parents' rights, but we think you have to balance that more on the side of the child and be able to really quickly find out if there's been a prior history.
By law, many child protection records are confidential in both Minnesota and Virginia, so officials will not discuss the details of Heaven's case or the warnings that may have been missed.
That's where we had her candlelight vigil.
Along the St. Paul Street where Heaven once played, those who loved her still question what more could have been done to save her.
I would tell her I'm sorry that I couldn't do more. And that I really miss her.
Not an easy story to watch, and it wasn't an easy story to tell. Federal law allows and Minnesota law requires the release of additional information about child protection cases in which a child died. Now, based on that law, tomorrow KARE 11 will be filing a formal request with Ramsey County to release more information about the warnings they received and the actions they took here in Heaven's case.
I'm dumbfounded that those records don't transfer from state to state to protect those children. That's just amazing to me.
Unlike a criminal record that is easy to find, child protection records are not as easy and often do not follow across state lines. It's much more difficult.
Basically, that protects the parents more than it does the children.
That it does.
That's
There is no
amazing to me.
national central clearinghouse for child abuse and for family court
That is
issues
Seems
of that
inexcusable
kind.
in this
That
day and
is
age with
stunning.
electronic records too, that it should be made easier, and it's certainly possible to get it done.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, AJ.